that gets them riled up specifically on the ESPN Insider issue because they'll have trade rumors there, but they're not available. Why not have at least the trade rumors available for anyone to see?
You mean, why do we tease people with information and then say you're going to have to pay for it if you want it? Is that what you're saying?
Specifically on the Insider, when they can wait, when they can wait for ESPN News to come up, and those same writers will tell them the same thing that you're posting on Insider. They can wait for the half hour later and then watch the guy say it on ESPN News when Jay Kim or whoever the Kim and those guys on ESPN News.
So then why are they upset?
Because they like to see it then.
So it's the half an hour difference that's the problem for them?
Yeah, the immediacy, or sometimes they don't have necessarily a TV in the room. I know, for example, the package I have at school does not, basic cable does not have ESPN the news. It just seems like of all things to have readily available, students would love to see the trade rumors, and that you can see, if you can post like the New York Times with the BlackBerry advertisement, maybe make the trade rumor content more available, and in return having more advertisement, because you will certainly get more hits if you had trade rumors readily available. Because everyone wants to know where's Johan Santana going, etc. And if you can make that more available, don't you think advertising could make up for it?
I think in some instances yes, and I think in some instances no. These are, where do you go to school?
University of Chicago.
Right. I think you teach economics there, right?
Economics.
From what I understand.
Yes.
These are, dynamic markets.
Correct.
Right? And so over time you're going to see instances in which it looks inefficient to sort of have a model like they have for ESPN Insider, and other times it's going to sort of make a lot of sense because in fact what you're giving in terms of exclusivity and immediacy is somehow worth the price and worth actually potentially annoying certain buyers.
But
right?
also,
I grew up, when I was in college, one of the big issues for me was being annoyed that Porsche wouldn't give me cars for free. And then I got over it.
But you can't make the Wall Street Journal now is going to have readily available content online for free in a year or two under Murdoch. Why do you see your model is so specific and you won't?
Well, I actually don't make the decisions about the model. You understand that I'm actually the editor of ESPN magazine.
Right, but you believe in the decision. Why aren't you looking to make ESPN Insider more?
Well, you don't know actually what I want to do.
You said that you wanted to. You defend the decision.
I actually didn't.
Okay.
I was explaining to you what the rationale was.
Okay.
I'm neither for nor against it. It's really what I do is run the magazine. What I would tell you is that if I wasn't working for ESPN, I would walk the walk. I would subscribe to Insider. So in the end, all I can tell you is that I would pay for it. So I can't really address why some people who wouldn't pay for it, because there are some people who wouldn't pay for anything, right?
Right, but I'm just thinking from a pure profitable standpoint. You don't think they would make, as just your pure guess, you don't think ESPN would make more money?
Oh, Alex, I haven't risen as high as I am in the media world by making random guesses like that. It's really hard to know, because obviously we have a considerable number. ESPN has 24 million unique users a month.
Mm-hmm.
So incrementally, one wouldn't imagine that the number of people who are going to Insider, who would go to Insider if it were free, would be that gigantic of a number to sort of justify taking the fees away, right? You might want to take the fees away for other reasons, but not because you thought like by doing that you would increase traffic such that you would get gigantic increases in ad revenues. Who knows? Again, far smarter people than I make these kinds of decisions.
And
I'm really not that smart. I don't know if you can tell.
Yeah, whatever. But the people that you've talked to, are they starting to consider maybe making that more?
Oh, this is the part of the interview where we start talking about private corporate secrets.
No, I'm talking about just ESPN Insider.
The people I talk to who work for ESPN Insider, or the people?
Well, they're all integrated. ESPN Magazine. I'm not talking about the
networks.
networks.
You mean my colleagues at ESPN? What are they saying about their strategy?
Yeah, with their insider.
Right. So this is the part where I start talking about the secret
That's not the
dealings
secret.
of ESPN.
I think ESPN
They must be secret because you don't know about them.
They're secret to an extent, but I don't think the ESPN Insider decision is going to make Walt Disney go up $3 or down $3 tomorrow in the market. I
don't know.
You think it could?
No. I just don't know.
Right.
I don't know anything about why markets move or why they don't. I just know that people who think they do are usually wrong. No, I don't. One of the reasons my colleagues continue to talk to me, believe it or not, is that when I run into journalists, I rarely tell them what my colleagues have talked to me about. Right? Does that make any sense?
Makes a lot of sense. All right, so moving on to more specific sports issues. What do you?
Sure.
What's in the ESPN magazine for next issue? What do you have on the NFL?
Well, we're actually the current issue that we are working on. When is this going to go up? When is this going to be
Tonight,
broadcast?
so I guess that would be December.
The issue that we're working on is the ESPN 100, which is our look back at the year. Actually, it's a rare time where we actually look back, but so we're going to look at the 100 biggest stories of the year. And no, I can't tell you what story number one, what the biggest story of the year was, because it's a surprise for all of our readers who pay for the magazine.
Right. That tease.
Although they can go to newsstands and probably look at it that way
Right.
if they want. But you can probably guess. Let me guess. What would you guess would be the 5 biggest stories of the year, or the 3 biggest stories of the year?
In sports?
Yeah.
I mean,
That ESPN, that 400 producers, editors, and directors at ESPN voted on.
let's go to major sports. I'm saying Peyton Manning finally got
Okay.
the title.
Okay.
I'd say baseball. You got. Well, you can. I don't know what angle you want to go for. You could do it. The bonds, the Vic. I don't know if you want to cover more the results.
What do you think is the biggest story in sports this year?
Probably bonds, because it
What do
reaches
you
an
think is
issue
the
that reaches past sports.
What do you think is the number 2 issue?
You could say Vic. And number 3 is the NBA betting scandal. I mean, those are the social implications. I don't know what angle you want to cover. If you want to cover more of the social.
I just want to know what people think are the 3 biggest stories in sports.
Those 3 reach past just the average sports fan and reach more of the mainstream news.
What do you think was the most important on the field story?
Peyton Manning finally winning the big one, along with Tony Dungy.
Which is more important, Peyton Manning winning the big one, or Tony Dungy winning the big one, being the first African American coach to win one? Just out of curiosity. What do you think is biggest?
I'd say Peyton Manning.
If you actually had the chance to sort of sit down with either one of them, which one would you choose, Peyton Manning or Tony Dungy?
Tony Dungy, but not for that reason. I mean, it depends on the type of interview that I'm doing. If it was his life, well, I mean, with his son who committed suicide, I mean, how that affected his professional career, what he thinks of mental illness, those kind of things. He made a controversial comment about, having a constitutional ban on gay marriage, religious aspects that play into his professional life, those type of topics.
But do you know what controversial because you don't think that coaches as team should sort of be vocalizing?
No, it's a controversial thing to say.
Right. When do you think I took over this interview?
3 or 4 minutes ago.
Let's get back to you.
Let's go back. Okay.
What do you need from me?
So, all right. So the NFL.
So we're looking for, obviously we've paid a lot of attention to the Patriots. We've paid a lot of attention to the Cowboys. I think we're looking, we probably want to look at the Packers. They seem to be a pretty compelling story. We probably, if we were going to do a Packers story, we might have a pretty interesting angle on it. If we're going to look at, we're probably going to look at the college football, right? Because the BCS, we're doing a run-up to the BCS now. Most of what we're doing is looking back, but there's a few stories in which we're trying to look forward. We might try to look at sort of what happened with the Red Sox, since that team has become essentially America's team in baseball. I hate to say that, given that I'm from St. Louis, and obviously I'm a Cardinals fan, because if you're a true baseball fan, you would be a Cardinals fan. And you wouldn't even pay attention to the American League, but if you're going to pay attention to the American League, you probably pay attention to the Red Sox these days, and so we're probably going to look at the Red Sox in one way or another. It's a weird issue for us just because it's a lot of look back, but we're trying to look forward as well. I think the Red Sox are in danger of turning into kind of the other version of the Death Star, right? If people view the Yankees as sort of like somehow this kind of like evil, all-consuming empire, I'm not sure a lot of people don't think the Red Sox are somewhat similar in terms of just sort of spending a lot of money to sort of acquire championships in a way that seems somehow slightly un-American. I don't necessarily feel that way myself, but I think that some people are increasingly starting to feel that way. So I don't think the Red Sox are trying to say that they're not as whatever as the Yankees. I think right now they're thinking they're better than that.